Hey guys, welcome back. It's another week. Today we're on the Nova. What we want to do is I want to strip the rear panel and the other quarter panel off, get all the things cleaned up so we can start thinking about putting new stuff back on. So we're going to get right into it. Get this thing cut apart. Hi, and welcome to Mike's Custom Garage. Now what we have here is on the back panel, in here, there's a weld every less than probably half an inch across this whole thing going down in here. This stiffener back here we don't want to touch. Same thing in here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 in about 2 inches, so every half inch. And the same on this side coming down in here. The quarter we're going to buzz off, not a big deal, but we want to take these. So what I'm going to do is cut it back here with the cutoff wheel, and then I'll just grind this out and clean it out, because we do not want to damage these pieces. And the same thing here, I'll cut around it, and then we'll clean it up and fix all that. Then across the bottom, we just come out and cut it off. Now as you can see, there's a little bit of crustiness in there. That's why we're replacing the panel, and it was hit in here and it's full of mud and stuff. So take all that off and put the new panel on. But we want to get that off. We'll get the other quarter panel off, and then we're going to clean everything up real nice and start putting it back together. With that inner bracket's right here, so I'm going to go out and give it half an inch room. Okay, now we'll just clean off this little lip that's here. We'll clean all this up nice. I got a little work here on this edge where it's going to get pulled out. But yeah, I made some quick work of it anyway. What we'll do now is going to get set up to get this quarter panel off too. Then we'll come back and we'll clean all this stuff up. Okay, now that back taillight panel's off, we're going to hit this quarter panel off. Same as the other side, we got to take the moldings off, take the window out, the felt. Got to take the sill panel out with the sill extension and the interior panels in here. So we get taking all these out, and then we'll get to cut this quarter panel off. Got a clip right there, and the window comes off. Surprised it's all holds it on there, to tell you the truth. put the bolts right back in the holes, and we won't lose them. Okay, I took out the window channel and the molding that went along here. A lot of hidden screws in there. I don't know if I can get the light in there. My flashlight had died. Inside of here, there's some screws. You can see that little dot. But there's some screws in here that hold the window channel in. Take that out, and there was a screw right up in the front that held the molding. So you need to get that to come off. And then this molding here just slides backwards towards the back of the car. You hit it with a rubber hammer, and it'll slide off its clips. So that's basically all those were. Really not that hard. It's got some putty in here they put in here. It kind of glued it in. So it's got to come loose, but it did no problem. So now we're going to do a rough cut like we did on the other side. And just get this sheet metal out of the way. And then we'll do some cleaning up. There you have it. One junk quarter panel. What we're going to do now is clean up the back end. We're going to clean up the welds all through here, here, and here, and get this ready for the new panels. We also have to take off all of this here. So let's cut this off first, get the outside layer off, then we'll grind out the welds on the inside. Now it's hammer time. Okay, that's all done, so now we're going to move on to the other side. Okay guys, as you can see, we got this lower lip all cleaned up. That is clean, that piece is clean, and that piece is clean. Now we gotta move on and get the rest of it done. Basically, I'm gonna trim off a little up in here, some weld here. Get this piece off. There's a bracket or a stiffener underneath it we want to save. I'm gonna cut it just above these stripes, probably in here somewhere, and then clean up this corner. Also need to take out the jam in here, which goes all the way down from here up. We'll get that out. We'll clean all this off and all of this. We'll cut out this wheelhouse, and so most of this will be done with a belt sander. That'll take the welds off. You know, we'll grind off all the spot welds there, and then the air chisel for the rest of it. So we're obviously not going to video all that. It's pretty much repetition, the same thing you've seen me doing all the time. But we'll get all this done, and then we'll come back. Okay, so as you can see, I got all the panels removed. Outer wheelhouse is off, cleaned up along the bottom in there. So this is good. I cut this low with a cutoff wheel because I didn't want to distort the metal chisel in it. I wanted to keep it nice. We'll come back in later and cut that to where the finished cut's going to be, which will probably be more up here somewhere. But for now, that's going to be fine. We've cleaned off right around where the outer wheelhouse will go. The rest of this will clean up better, and then we'll use some of the rust converter on it. I mean, there's only so much I can do without taking the whole car apart, and I'm not doing that. But all these spots like in here, we'll clean it up really good, and we'll hit it with some rust converter. But for now, this is cut, ready. The new wheelhouse, I put all the holes in it for welding. So we're going to set this in place. I'm going to have to get the quarter ready and put that in place to make sure that the wheelhouse is in the right location. I just want it to be a nice tight fit, and it doesn't have the same alignment holes that the factory wheelhouse had, so we are going to put it in, just clamp it in a few spots, or lay in there even, put the quarter on, line all these other panels up there here, get things right where I want them, then I'll take the quarter back off and weld this outer wheelhouse on. The best way to do it when you don't have an alignment mark to go by is to fit panels, make sure everything fits. So that's what we'll do. So for now, let's get this wheelhouse in its place. Yesterday we rough fit the panels. Gaps look pretty good here. This one here needs a little more tweaking. Like I said, it's just on there rough. We really fought to get this here to fit around the wheelhouse. I put the original wheelhouse right where the old one was, and it was low, probably 1/4 of an inch. So I couldn't get it to fit. Still struggling a little bit to get this gap closed up. So the quarter needs to go down and then in. And that might just be a matter of cleaning up some weld down here or something that's holding it. Though this is not even touching there, I can stick my finger underneath. So it may be this bottom edge. And if I can't get it off, I might have to cut it off and re-weld it back up a little higher. But it's definitely still a bit too high. And see with the door, the gap looks good this way, but as you can see, it's too high. So we gotta get that worked out. We gotta trim a little more off in here. We'll cut this later, but it's pretty close. This side, I had the same problem. The other side, I fixed it already. But you see how it's bent out? That's just from them shipping it. And this piece is bent out. What I'm going to do is put it on a stand and bend it back so that it fits better. But it's got tension on it now. It doesn't want, it's fighting. It's probably got, you know, a little bend in this panel here. But it's a rough fit and it's pretty close. What we're going to do now is take it all back apart. And the reason we put it here to start with was fitting the panels to see where they go. This panel here, it's good side to side, but it's high. And that's why we fit the panels. You see how it's up probably a quarter of an inch maybe? Now I checked from here down on both sides and they're identical. So that's telling me that this is good, but this might need to come down just a little bit. And that'll get this gap here to fit. Now, this trunk's also been hit, so it may not be perfect, but that's why we've just primed it the way it was. And if we need to do a little tweaking along here to get this straight, we can. But first, we're gonna get this panel on. Get you back a little better. We get this panel on and fit the trunk to it after. Now, if you remember right, I left the trunk on with it fitting the old quarter panels, so I know that that would be fine. It's where it belongs. Now it's just a matter of fitting the car back to the piece I left on. So what we're gonna do now is take everything back off, except for the trunk lid, of course. I'm gonna weld the wheelhouse in place because now I know that's where it belongs because now it fits. And then once I weld the wheelhouse in place, we'll start refitting these panels and see and get them fitting just a little bit better. But this is the first step, just seeing where we're at. So I know what I need to adjust to get this car looking perfect. Okay, so now that I've addressed what I consider the issues with the body panels, as far as I know now what I need to do to get things where I want them. Couple things. I put some more clamps on this, and like I say, the wheelhouse now, because the quarter panel did fit pretty good, it's where I want it to be. So we're going to weld this up. We're going to clean up all of the rest of this inside stuff. And the back panel, I was saying that was from the bow holes to the floor are identical. What I did find though is this panel right here is a quarter of an inch higher in the center. Now, it does move. And there's some, like a bump, I guess, right here where it's a little high. So this all needs to get hammered and dollied down, and it should be flat and straight like this is right here. So let's say we're a quarter of an inch high in the middle, which, but from being good on this side, as I come across, it's making this side high. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hammer and dolly, and I'm going to straighten that panel, make sure it's perfectly straight across, so that the taillight panel can go on and fit properly. This side, I've already took the quarter off. They're outside today, and I just grabbed a hold of it, held it on this side, and bent it. And it bent pretty easy, but I don't want pressure on it when it's on the car. I want it to fit perfect. But so there, I just weld it up and it's done. Some things I've kind of noticed is, you see how wide this is? And it gets wider down here. On this panel, it's wide all the way. These panels, once they're on the car, are going to have to get trimmed back, because they're definitely not as they're not what they were from factory, obviously. So there you have it, all apart at least. Next video we'll put it back together. But for now, I think we're going to wrap this up right here and make the next video about assembly and putting it back and getting everything done. So guys, thanks for watching. If you like this content, hit the like, subscribe, notifications, leave me a comment. I mean, you guys sometimes have some real good ideas. But thanks again. Thanks for watching. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next one.